dental hygiene student. I was not a dental assistant before. Let's talk about radiation characteristics. This was the worst. Kilovoltage, milliamperage, image density and contrast, a few shades of gray, many shades of gray. These are scary words, guys, but it's okay, I'll help you. You see this thing? You'll see this on your wall when you're taking x-rays. This thing, that's kilovoltage. It should always be between 65 and 70. What is kilovoltage? That determines the speed of electrons and the quality of x-rays. Milliamperage. This determines the number of electrons passing through the cathode filament and the quantity of x-rays. Quality, quantity. Speed, number. Quality, quantity. Okay, so density. That is the overall darkness of an image. Contrast is the difference between the light and dark areas. So if you increase kilovoltage, you're going to make the image darker. Like this. This is diagnostic. This is increased kilovoltage. See how it's a little darker? If you decrease kilovoltage, the image becomes lighter. This is diagnostic. This is decreased kilovoltage. It's lighter. So if you have a lighter image, you have decreased kilovoltage, which means you have a high contrast. See this? It's black and white. So there's few shades of gray. This is good for caries detection. Here is high kilovoltage and a low contrast. That means here there are many shades of gray. That's good for detecting perio and periapical disease. Did I lose you? Is this making sense? Remember how we talked about exposure? Whether you're overexposed or underexposed? If you increase the amount of times you go outside, you're going to become darker. But if you decrease the number of times you're going to go outside, you become lighter. So the quality of your tan is going to depend on that kilovoltage. Is that making sense? Does that help? Anyways, moving on. Milliamperage. Number of electrons. Quantity of x-rays. Density. Overall darkness in an image. If you increase the milliamperage, you have a darker image. If you increase the number of times you go outside, you're going to get darker. If you decrease the milliamperage, it's going to be a lighter image. When you don't go outside, you're going to become lighter. With milliamperage, you got to be aware of exposure time. Kind of like when you go in the sun, like we just talked about, right? When milliamperage is increased, exposure time is decreased. I hope you learned a little bit here and I didn't confuse you, because this is a very hard one. Especially when you're like looking at it in class and the teacher explaining it to you and you're just like, yeah. Hopefully you take this and you see my little helpful hints and tips, and it'll help you when you take the test. If you're allowed to have a little note card, remember the arrows. Get your blank note card out, and when you go and take that test, make sure to write them so you know it, so that way you don't have to think about it. Write it down as soon as you start the test. You got this.